Young officers trained to seduce and manipulate. To use their bodies. To use everything.
There's a ton of speculation around Erika Kirk right now as to whether she's a honeypot, whether she's CIA or Mossad, or whether she's just a genuine grieving widow.
Hey y'all, it's Silly Girl Blue back with another video today. This is our topic, and I'm just popping here to say, for those who don't know, a honeypot is basically a trap. You know, you leave out the sweets so that something or someone will come to it and naturally want it. So it doesn't seem suspicious at all. It's like, wow, this beautiful woman in front of me, I'm going to date her. Today we're going to discuss all the weird findings about Erika Kirk and touch on some other weird behaviors that I've noticed. I haven't seen anyone else discuss them, but I've noticed them. There have actually been 2 awesome videos, and I'm going to link them, that I've watched on this topic. So we're going to go through the good parts of those videos, at least the parts I think are good. And then we're also going to discuss some things I noticed while watching these videos. Let's get into it.
There's one thing through all of this that has been like a main line, and it's been how strange Erika Kirk's behavior is apparently Erika Kirk is banned from Romania due to the allegations of child sex trafficking. Let's look into the validity of this. Erika was a model and casting director in the early 2000s. She ran an evangelical ministry in Romania that contracted with the U.S. military and fostered children for adoption.
So these types of adoption centers do actually exist in America as well. Maybe not where they sell them to organ traffickers, but where they'll let people pay money to get a kid faster, which for it to be human trafficking, it needs to be selling the child for the purpose of exploiting them. But if they are adopting a child and posting them online, that's exploiting. So it is kind of the definition of human trafficking. Interestingly enough, these YouTubers, Dallin and Bella, actually did this. If you don't know them, they're 2 YouTubers and they got scammed by a surrogate. She was pregnant with twins and, you know, they had a baby shower, got her nursery ready. Whole time she's faking it. She's scamming them. They were like heartbroken. And then literally like a couple months later, they got a kid. Basically, yeah, people theorized that they did this through a church. So it's a church. And so if you're a teenager or you're, you know, pregnant out of wedlock, you can go to the church and the church knows people that want to have kids. And basically the church is like, give me money and you can adopt this kid. So it's a little messed up. I don't think it's far-fetched that Erika Kirk was doing somewhat of the same thing where she was. And if she was working with that country, then it just shows that she has close ties with them and she works for them. And that is a lot of evidence right there.
This organization was based in the same area in Romania where child sex trafficking is rampant. Here's a quote of hers. "I am very proud that we have been able to go international in the past few years. I absolutely love working with the military, so I feel blessed that we can do that on a continual basis through Antonio Placement Center in Constanta, Romania." Now, this organization was one of many evangelical organizations that was accused by outraged locals of snatching children only to send them straight into sex and organ trafficking networks in the UK and Brazil.
Erika posted a video back in 2013 of her in Romania working to give kids gifts. And in that video, she thanks Colonel Busher III, who was accused of being a human trafficker and a sex trafficker. The woman that accused him of human trafficking and sex trafficking filed with the Romanian authorities saying that he was running a brothel out of the US military base over there in Romania. And that brothel included minors. Now, the Romanian authorities took this case all the way to 2023 when it was dropped, citing insufficient evidence.
But let's keep going, because this next thing is definitely very strange, because they did 100% meet in...
Let's hear Erika Kirk tell the story of the first time that she met Charlie, because it's very interesting what she mentions. Listen closely.
But just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. Well, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage.
So funnily enough, I did not know what a pilgrimage was, so I looked it up, you guys. A pilgrimage is a journey to a holy or sacred place for a religious or spiritual purpose. It's interesting that she was there for that.
And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time. But nothing is by coincidence when God is within you, okay? So you guys go blaze a trail, okay? God bless you all.
So while I was watching this clip, it reminded me of another clip I saw of something really bizarre that happened in June of this year. I'm pretty sure it was some sort of debate with the governors of New York or the people that were running. And it reminds me a little bit of Erika's story here.
By a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not
say it has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear
his
on
answer
that.
was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
All right,
and I want to be very clear. I believe
answered.
every state should be a state of equal rights.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
The way these politicians mention that country, and it feels like they have to almost because it's probably part of their elaborate contracts that they have. They're being paid to say that stuff, is the same vibe I'm getting from Erika feeling the need to mention it in her speech. For lack of a better term, it feels like they're working for them. It's suspicious that she was even there, period. It's suspicious that he was there. What were they doing there? It's suspicious. This whole story of the first time they saw each other too very much interests me because it makes me believe that they could have put her and Charlie there at the same time on the same flight on purpose so that they would see each other. Not only so she could use this story once they start dating to make him feel like, oh, this is serendipitous, this is God, but also because psychologically, if you see somebody at some point, then when you see them again, you're probably more likely to be somewhat connected to them. And she even said that in her speech where he looked familiar. That's what she was trying to accomplish with him, and it worked later on.
In fact, in 1988, a film called Snake Eyes by Brian De La Palma came out, and it is about a politician named Charles Kirkland who was assassinated by getting shot in the neck. And he was shot in the neck on September 10th in the film. Okay? The same exact day. Okay, the same exact day. Now,
this story is wild. Not only is it an extreme coincidence, if it is one, that the names are so similar, but it's also evidence that movies do hold a lot of truth to them, which is something we'll come back to later on in this video.
Erika Kirk won Miss Arizona at a Donald Trump pageant. Did you know that this film was filmed inside of Trump's Taj Mahal in Atlantic City?
Now we move on to her connection with Trump. Seemingly out of nowhere, she goes on to compete in 2 beauty pageants, Miss Colorado 2010 and Miss Arizona 2012. She wins Miss Arizona 2012, which is a beauty pageant owned by none other than Donald Trump.
If you're not quite sure yet where I'm going with this video, I personally think Erika Kirk was one of Jeffrey Epstein's girls, and not one of the girls that he assaulted, but one that he knew he could use for leverage. He didn't exploit her. She needed her to exploit people for him. And I think he gave her to Trump, and then she was sent out to accomplish a certain mission. If you think this sounds crazy or out of pocket, let's look at the movie Red Sparrow, where they discuss the way these women spies are trained and then sent out to manipulate and extract information.
When I was in Moscow, I heard about a program. Young officers trained to seduce and manipulate. To use their bodies. To use everything. Call them sparrows. That's what she is.
Prima ballerina Dominika Egorova faces a bleak and uncertain future after she suffers an injury that ends her career. She soon turns to Sparrow School, a secret intelligence service that trains exceptional young people to use their minds and bodies as weapons. Egorova emerges as the most dangerous sparrow after completing the sadistic training process. As she comes to terms with her new abilities, Dominika meets a CIA agent who tries to convince her that he is the only person she can trust. To convince you even further, I'm going to show you a true story of 2 Russian spies who were so deep in their undercover work that their children didn't even know they were Russian until the plane ride back to Russia.
Late last night, Russian President Vladimir Putin welcoming home 2 married undercover Russian spies and their children as part of the historic and multinational prisoner swap. But why did he say Buenas noches when greeting the young kids? These real-life Russian spies went by the names Ludwig Gish and Maria Rosa Maya Munoz, but their actual names were Artem Dulcev and Anna Dulceva. They were convicted of espionage in Slovenia, where they were...
Espionage is the practice of spying or of using spies, typically by governments to obtain political and military information, which, if their one job is to be spies and they got caught. But this is why you should not just trust anybody willingly. You should always be like, why are you talking to me? Why do you like me? Don't, just be willy-nilly with your information.
Posing as Argentinian citizens. Their 2 children, whose names have not been released, don't speak Russian and didn't even know they were Russian until they were on the plane yesterday, according to a Kremlin spokesman.
This was a tribute to them being very deep undercover.
Now that we're aware these sorts of things really do occur in certain depths of the government and high societies, let's take a deeper look into Erika Kirk's past.
Let's do a deep dive into her life and find out. Born Erika Lane Franzve. Her dad was Kent Franzve. He had ties with the DoD and supported the founding of Raytheon's missile defense program in Israel. Now, the internet has been scrubbed of his name in the last few weeks, so it's very hard to do research on him.
Raytheon Technologies, commonly referred to as Raytheon, is a major U.S. defense contractor and industrial corporation. It specializes in manufacturing weapons and military and commercial electronics, providing advanced defense solutions to the U.S. government and its allies. Israel's defense system is a multi-layered network designed to counter a wide spectrum of incoming threats. Okay, we're actually just going to watch a video on this instead of me just reading it because that's so annoying.
Recurring images like this, missiles streaming across the sky and exploding midair. These are missiles from Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system, a land-based system that intercepts and destroys short-range rockets and mortars. It has become a bedrock of the country's defense since its introduction in 2011. And in the current round of hostilities, Israel's military said the system has intercepted more than 200 of the more than 1,000 rockets fired towards Israel as of May 12th. Here's how the complex detection and interception system works. The system is powered by missile defense batteries, each containing 3 main components. These batteries can defend across short-range rocket and mortar attacks within almost 45 miles of the battery. They are also mobile, so they can be moved to where they are needed. First, a radar unit detects an incoming rocket and relays information about its speed and trajectory to the battery's control center. The control center's computers calculate if the rocket is going to hit populated areas. If it is, a missile is fired from the launcher. Each launcher contains 20 interceptor missiles. Each receives constant guidance updates from the control center and its internal radar. The missile destroys the incoming rocket by exploding near it. The goal is to do this far away from populated areas, minimizing damage on the ground. The defense system has intercepted over 2,400 rockets bound for civilian areas since its launch in 2011, according to an Israeli military spokesperson. During a conflict in 2012, the Iron Dome knocked down 421 rockets launched from Gaza and bound for Israeli cities before a November ceasefire. And during the 2014 war in Gaza, it intercepted 700 rockets fired by Islamist movement Hamas, a 90% success rate that effectively blunted the Palestinian group's aerial threat. The United States has provided hundreds of millions of dollars in funding for the system, and has also bought and is testing 2 Iron Dome batteries of its own. And Israel has expanded the defense system by installing missile batteries on ships, and the system is in the midst of being upgraded to combat the threat posed by unmanned drones. As the current conflict continues,
there's one. Go back to there is a rocket. You can see it streaking in the sky right now, turning. There's another. This is being launched from a different site. So now you'll start to see the Iron Dome system taking them off. You see again, many rockets, many interceptions. Not much damage. No damage.
Her mom is Lori Franzfei, who owns a company that has contracts with Homeland Security in the Department of Defense. Her grandfather, Carl Kenneth Franzfei, he worked as the VP of American Banknote Co., and they were known for creating their secure printing in their secure IDs. He was also the Grand Chief of the Independent Order of Vikings, a secret society of sorts, to become a licensed real estate agent in the state of New York, where she was signed by the elite Corcoran Group, the same firm that listed Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion. So here we have a girl that has just become a real estate agent, and all of a sudden she's doing luxury real estate.
This proves that her parents were in very high society, very elite, and she could have definitely ended up working for someone with a lot of power. They potentially sent her out and set her up to be in established places with established men. Even her interviewing for Turning Point USA is weird. Why was she there? How'd she get there? Then, just as they anticipated, a rich, high-level man plucked her and took her in, because if all of this information wasn't damning enough, just the way she's been acting after the whole thing is very odd.
That leads us to her response to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Her husband was violently assassinated in front of the entire world, and there's no definitive answer as to who did it or why they did it. And yet she goes on a stage and says that she forgives this kid who is allegedly the killer, but there's so much speculation around the FBI narrative that it's not seeming likely that he's the killer, but she forgives him in front of everyone.
I forgive him.
And the whole situation just seems kind of fake.
She's saying she forgives so that people will start to forget. She wants people to be like, well, if she forgives, I forgive. And with forgiving comes forgetting.
There is a lot of content to be had, and we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will, I am so excited.
Yeah. She's very smiley for someone whose husband just died. However, in her defense, I do know that when you activate the muscles you use to smile, they send oxytocin to your brain. So if you ever feel like crying or sad, just force yourself to smile, even if it's fake, and you might actually be able to trick yourself into feeling better. Just a trick for everybody out there.
Know her husband's favorite animal.
Funny, his favorite animal was the platypus. Favorite animal?
I love dogs. I lost my dog in October. I'm still not over it. He was an amazing dog. I believe dogs are windows into God's, almost a window into God.
I found that interview of him being asked what his favorite animal was. His own wife didn't know that, and if that's not bad enough, she couldn't even say when she fell in love with him.
When did you know you were in love?
He knew immediately, and I knew there was something there. But I, prior to that, was praying that if he was to be my future husband, that the Lord would make it so clear that I would have such a peace about it, outside of it wearing a suit, outside of work-related events. And he just was amazing.
That's a weird answer.
She didn't even answer it. She just said a bunch of nonsense and then said, he's amazing. Like, what does that even mean? And this isn't the first time it seems like she doesn't actually care about what's going on in her life.
How long have you been married, and when did you know it was time to get married?
We've been married since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh about this because our dates are so messed up because of babies, meaning there's so many dates to remember.
Mm-hmm. I know. I get all the anniversaries.
Like kids' birth
May
dates.
14th.
So we've been married for.
How did you know it was time to get married?
How did we know? You just know.
It's also what, don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time. And plus, we were ready to start our life together.
That's right.
I also noticed something interesting in the recent interview she did where it felt almost fake and contradictory. Let's look at the first clip where the doctors are telling her she probably shouldn't see her husband in the state he's in.
Professional opinion think that you should wait to see him once he's at the mortuary. Because I don't think you want to see him like this. And I responded back to him and I said, with all due respect, sir, I said, I want to see what they did to my husband. And I want to give him a kiss, because I didn't get to give him a kiss this morning. And I said the same thing to the doctor. When the doctor came in, I said, I want to see my husband. He said, I'll make sure that happens. And I did.
Then in the same interview, she says this about the video of the assassination.
The video was everywhere. How do you process that?
I never saw the video. I never will see it. I never want to see it. There's certain things you see in your life that you can never unsee. There's certain things you see in your life that mark your soul forever.
So I get seeing him get shot is very graphic and probably more graphic than what she seen at the hospital, even though personally the hospital would have scarred me as well. If she really meant that she wanted to see what they did to him, don't you think she would have watched the video to really understand the true evil? Because watching it, that's really when like everything clicked for me. Maybe watching it would make her feel too guilty.
Charlie was answering a question about trans violence when he was murdered. Do you think that was a coincidence?
I don't
all of the time. Her saying she doesn't believe in coincidences is also her exposing herself in a way because what do you mean? There are all of these coincidences linking you back to the people who allegedly hurt your husband, and you don't believe in coincidences? That means it wasn't some big coincidence. It was a meticulous, thought out scheme.
Do you think they've caught your husband's killer?
So, something I'm so grateful for is that we have one of the most incredible teams for this case. I would never wish it upon anybody to have to go through what we are going through. To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected, I trust our team.
I want to know how she can believe her team so much, even though it would have been impossible for Charlie's head basically to stay intact at that close of range with that caliber of a weapon. It's just impossible. This makes me believe even further that she's helping cover up this elaborate plan.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died and became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to be there for Turning Point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them.
Once again here, she completely does not answer the question, alleging that people think someone else killed Charlie. She just dances around it. It's like she doesn't want to say yes and she doesn't want to say no. It's like she doesn't want to lie. Erika's very affectionate and intimate personality also strikes a chord for me, and it's not for the reason you might think.
Kirk and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance are making headlines after they shared an unusual hug at a Turning Point USA event.
Now, this may be far-fetched, or maybe it's not, but she could be so huggy and physical in part to her potential education on using her body to manipulate and control people. People who hug you intimately and give intimate eye contact all the time are people you should keep your eye on. They are good at extracting information without you even realizing, under the guise of caring or being interested without seeming threatening. Like, do you have any kids? Oh, how old? I have kids as well. How old are they? Information that you shouldn't just be giving out willingly. Let's just take a couple minutes to inject a little humor into this because these comments just had me cracking up. I bet JD's favorite animal is a platypus or Erika puss. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are ridiculous. And here, this comment is basically what I'm saying. She was a honeypot, plain and simple. You want to see a grieving widow? Look at Sharon Osbourne. She still hasn't done an interview or press release. Erika hasn't stopped doing them. There's a huge difference. It's almost like she knew it was coming. This video is made to show you all the realities that this comment has. It's not far-fetched. It's actually more far-fetched to believe that this is all some big coincidence.
And I think the reason why she's able to hold herself together so well is because she is an elite. And these people are part of secret societies like the Freemasons, like the Knights of Malta, and they do take orders for this evil agenda. It's no secret that Charlie Kirk was part of the Freemasons. I think they are all part of this elite secret society. The real question is, why is her grieving not seem genuine? And I think that there's two possible outcomes. Number one, I think the question is whether she's scared for her life or not. Just because you're a Freemason or a Knight of Malta does not mean you're at the top. There are people above you and they have an evil agenda. Or maybe she was involved in the whole process. Because these people that are in power, their souls are not the same as the common man's soul. They are trained from a very young age to see out a massively evil agenda for all of humanity. Given Erika Kirk's background, this very well could be the case.
My personal belief is that she was involved and was planted a long time ago. I think if she was scared, she would back down and not want to say anything or even bring attention to herself or be in the limelight. The fact she's trying to collect fame, sympathy, and views off of this situation makes me believe that this was all an elaborate plan to make sure we, people, stay controlled under their agendas. This stuff really does go this far and get this deep. And it is really scary, which is why I think people are inclined to just shrug it off as crazy talk. Let me know your opinions because this is a very interesting topic with all sorts of different angles. It was great talking to you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.